If you look, Imam Raghib al-Isbahani says that Allah has given us 3 powers, quwwah, that He put in the human being. The first quwwah is called shahawiyya, which is a power that we share with animals. It's called appetitive, and it's part of our animal nature, because human is hayawan. But he's hayawan natiq, like the Arabs say, an articulate or a rational animal. But that power, the ability to this power of appetite is a healthy thing when it's kept in check. And that's the mashrab, the ma'kal, and the mankah. Eating, drinking, and procreation. That's the shahwa that human beings have been given. And then you have the quwwa al-ghadabiyya, which is called the irascible power or faculty that God has put into man. And this relates to the emotions. It's why people get angry. And that's put in there for a reason, because you should get angry about things that should elicit proper anger. But you should get angry for the right reasons, in the right degree, at the right time, and towards the right object. You don't just get angry. There's people now walking around, they're just filled with rage. They're filled with anger. They'll get angry at the slightest thing, because that's their state, that's the hal that they're in. Because the irascible self has overwhelmed them. Just like there's people now just looking for, there's people, 40 million downloads of pornography in this country every day. 40 million. The highest pornographic downloading going on per capita are in Muslim countries. You can look at the Google, research on it. And I'm reading a book on this subject right now. I can't even believe it, what's going on out there. Because people are complete slaves of themselves. And that's total heedlessness. You couldn't do something like that unless you were in a complete state of heedlessness. That's what it is. It's total heedlessness. And now shaitan has vehicles, has their machines and technology that can completely destroy a human being. Completely. You'll put out your inner eye, blind it. It's like taking the scholars of this science say that the inner eye is more sensitive than the outer eye. The spiritual eye is more sensitive than the outer eye. Just like when you get a little speck of sand in your eye, you can't see, you just want to clear your eyes. Anything that you're looking at that is haram, that's what it's doing to your inner eye, but worse. It's like stabbing it. It's like stabbing it. And that's what people are doing. That's what there is. It's all heedlessness. That's why Imam al-Junayd said that the real root cause of all sin, crime, evil in the world is ghafla. That's what he said. That is the root crime. Human beings are sleepwalkers in somnambulant states, not aware that the time is coming. We're going to have to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة. The reckoning is drawing near, and people are in heedlessness. They're not thinking about it. The Prophet ﷺ was thinking about it constantly. حَاسِبُوا قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Take yourself to account before you're taken to account. عِدُّوا أَنفُسُكُم مِّنْ أَصْحَابِ الْقُبُورِ. Consider yourselves already in the grave. That's a hadith in Sahih Muslim. Consider yourselves already in the grave. Be prepared to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's real. It's real. النَّارُ حَقٌّ وَالْجَنَّةُ حَقٌّ. I mean, those are hadiths. Fire is real, paradise is real, the day of judgment is real, the whole, it's all real. This is the illusion. People think they're going to be here forever. There were people 100 years ago listening to the same ayahs, hearing the same, they're all gone, they're dead. All of them, they're all gone. And here we are, and we're going to be gone, and these young people, they'll be sitting here with the same problems, the same stupidities, the same miserliness, greed, envy, backbiting, namima. All the same diseases. And that's why in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, Safiru taghnamu, set out on the journey and reap the rewards. Raghib al-Isbahani said, don't take this as some kind of outward journey. The Prophet, when he tells you a commandment, Because outwardly, merchants, when they go out on a journey, they benefit. سَافِرُوا فَفِي الْأَسْفَارِ خَمْسُ فَوَائِدِ, like the Arabs say. Travel, there's 5 benefits in traveling. You get benefit from travel. But this is a spiritual traveling. Set out on a journey to God, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says that journey, and finally, before I get to that, the third quwwah is the quwwah an-natiqa. It's the rational soul, the power, the faculty that human beings have that separates them from all other species on this planet, with the exception of the jinn. That faculty is the ability to reason. It's the ability to think. And if that faculty is meant to be in control of the other 2 faculties. But what's happened is, qalb al-haqa'iq, it's switched over. The horse is riding the man. The donkey is riding you. That's what's happening. It's switched, it's completely backward. You can tell people that it takes, your basal metabolic rate is like 1,600, it'll burn 1,600 calories a day, right? So you just need that just to survive. I mean, you'll burn fat or something like that for a certain amount of time, and then the body starts eating itself, then you die. That's what you need. And then, based on your movement, you need something on top of that, 500, 1,000, depending on what people do. Laborers need more. People that use their intellect need more because there's glucose. You have to have caloric intake for thinking. So, but there's people out there eating 4,000 calories a day. Every time they get on the scale, they see it going up. They get diabetes. And then they pray, for a shifa. Allahumma shfini. People eat all that ghee and dalda and this, that, and the other. And then they have a triple bypass. Alhamdulillah. No, seriously, if you're sick, people get sick, genes, there's a lot of reasons people get sick. But most people make themselves sick. And then they ask God God gave you a body. It has legs with muscles. You have a stomach that's meant to digest. It's all wisdom. But you can understand all of that rationally. Do people exercise? No. The doctor tells them to exercise, they don't exercise. Do people overeat? When the ice cream comes, do they eat it? Yes. Even with diabetes, I've seen people shoot up insulin before they have their dessert. I'm not making that up. Why? Because they can't control themselves. It's as simple as that. People aren't well. But you're human beings. I mean, this is Bani Adam. We're not insignificant creatures. We're meant to be people of discipline. I mean, that's why Allah has given us this religion, 5 prayers a day in specific times. The Prophet ﷺ once saw a man who had a heavy stomach, and he said that would be better if it was on somebody else. 30,000 children died yesterday of starvation. And probably more or as many died from overeating. Because it's imbalance. People don't think about other people. They just think about themselves. That's ghafla. It's ghafla. It's all greed. It's all ego. It's all me. That's what's going on out on that freeway out there. Nobody's thinking of the other people. When I grew up, people had courtesy on the road. I remember that clearly. I'm not making this up. People had courtesy on the road. People would actually stop and let you get in. Now they speed up and then flip you off. Seriously, because this is a complete me culture. That's what's happening. It's the whole planet. We got 6 billion people. Me. 6 billion people. It makes a wonderful world, doesn't it? وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ. That's what Islam is about. They prefer others to themselves. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Even if they have needs, they actually prefer others to themselves. Like the 2 of the Ansar who had a guest and they turned out the lights because they didn't have enough food for themselves. They put their children to sleep and then they fed the guest. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah was pleased with what you did last night. Because Allah is aware. Those are real people. Those are human beings. It's not all these selfish people out there. It's not all these people filled with that me attitude. It's human beings. That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be human beings. Now, if if you look what happened in Virginia, I mean, there's a lot of, it's a very deep problem, but it's a problem that we need to think about as a society, about where this whole thing is going, where this project is going. Internet and violence that's so graphic, that if you have any sanity at all, you have to feel sick in the fact that it's out there. All this graphic violence, video games, all these things. I mean, even the kid is imitating a film that he saw. That's what But if you look, what happened to him? That's what I'm interested in. What happened to him? I mean, how did that get created? Humiliated, laughed at because he's Korean, made fun of by his, go back to China. People don't even know the difference between a Korean and a Chinese person. They have very distinct look, and they know each other. The Korean sees another Korean, they know each other. Chinese know each other. It's like Africans. People think blacks all look alike. When I was in Africa, I had to learn all the different. Yoruba, Hausa, Manding, Fulan, they all look different. And I learned to see, I meet people on the street that are from Africa. I'll say, oh, where are you from, Nigeria? How'd you know? I say, you're Yoruba? How'd you know? They can't even believe an American would even know that there's different kind of black people in the world. But you have to treat people with dignity. That's what happened. This man was humiliated since he was a little kid in grade school. And that's what happens, all this bullying. And the Quran prohibits that. It's one of the worst things that you can do is sukhriya, is making fun of people, mocking people, humiliating people. The same thing happened in Columbine. You study those two boys that did that in Columbine. The same thing. They were mocked by the jocks of the school, spit on, called faggots. What kind of culture is that? What do we teach our children in the houses? There's so much abuse out there. If you want to know why people are in the states they're in, look at the way they're being raised. Look at the way they're being spoken to. Just human respect, human dignity, treating people like human beings, welcoming people. This is what humans are supposed to be doing. That's what humanity is about. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. تعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. Work with each other in righteous things. Don't work with each other in harmful things. Allah says, لا يسخر قوم من قوم. Don't let one people mock another people. And قوم here is nakira. It's an indefinite substantive. Whenever you have a negative before that, it means anybody. It's للعموم, like the usuliyun say. It means anybody. No people should mock another people. Arabs shouldn't mock Americans. Americans shouldn't mock Arabs. People should not mock each other. Because when you mock people, they get angry. Because you're humiliating them. You're making them feel insignificant. You're making them feel like rich people that mock poor people. That was a lot of his diatribe. Was about rich people, their insensitivity. And that happens. We're in a culture where we don't even know there's a whole other culture living alongside this culture that doesn't have anything. Really. People that don't have anything. They live with rats and cockroaches. In this culture, we've got New Orleans right now. Down there, nothing's been done. We're trying to rebuild Iraq. And a whole city was wiped off the map, and still there's people that can't go back to their homes. What's happened? And these are questions we have to ask as a culture, as a country. And these are really, really troubling things that people should be deeply troubled by. These things just come and go, and then it's just a media flash, and everybody gets excited, and then it's over until the next one happens. People don't think about what's going on. What are we teaching our children? There's a book by Dave Grossman, he's a lieutenant colonel, taught the psychology of killing. It's called Stop Teaching Our Children to Kill. It's been proven by social sciences that there is a small number of people out there that are going to become violent from all of these violent games that they watch. Yeah, it's small, it doesn't happen to everybody, but if it happens to a small number, that's the whole purpose of Islam. You prohibit things to protect that minority that's going to be endangered by those things, like alcohol. A lot of people that have their glass of wine every night, the doctor said, no, it's good for your heart. Forget about your liver and your kidneys, but it's good for your heart. But what happens, right? There's a whole other group of people, they start drinking that stuff, it destroys their marriages, it destroys their life. It's just like internet pornography. In this book I'm reading, there's so many marriages that have been destroyed. People that get addicted to that don't even want to have an intimate relationship with a real human being. They're just in cyber world. Kind of culture. People have to ask themselves those questions.